Hello, welcome to Chapter 7 for business math called Charge Accounts and Credit Cards. This is Lesson 7.3, Finance Charge Average Daily Balance Method. All right, as always, make sure you're reading through the chapter, looking through this lesson for Chapter 7.3. Pay attention to the vocab and the concepts it's introducing. Go through the examples and pay attention to what's happening. Not just how do you get through it, but what are we doing and why are we doing it? Definitely important on the learning aspect of that here. All right, let's go ahead and read the summary here. Most companies granting credit compute the finance charge using the average daily balance method. New purchases included. New purchases included means that any new purchase is added into the balance at the end of each day. In other words, the daily balance equals the previous day's balance plus new purchases minus the payments and credits. So they compute the daily balance every day. That's why it's called the daily balance. The finance charge is calculated by multiplying the periodic rate by the average daily balance. So we were dealing with periodic rates in section 2, and they'll give us the periodic rate in here. So we know what we're multiplying by, what our percentage rate is. So the average daily balance is equal to the sum of the daily balance. So, what is it all total up to? And then dividing by the number of days. Finance charge equals average daily balance times the periodic rate. New balance equals the unpaid balance, so whatever is left in your account unpaid after your payments, plus any finance charge, plus any new purchases. So very, very, very similar to what we did in the last section. So first, this one has a couple of different sections here. Let me scooch down. So we actually only have 2 questions on this whole worksheet. It's just a little bit longer for this one. So we're going to fill in the table for part A. And here they go. Here's the billing periods. And here's payments. Here's purchases. End of day balance. And then times number of days. This is how many days this balance stayed there. And then $536 was a balance for 1 day. $536 again for 9 more days because it, I believe what it's doing is it's ending. Oh, they're doing a little different here because of the purchase. Interesting. It should have changed a little bit there, but I will not argue with it for right now, but it should have changed a little bit if we made a purchase. And then we made a payment, so it went down a little bit there. So we're just calculating the number of days that we had that balance. So we're literally multiplying end of day by 10 and getting this sum of the balances. And it looks like a lot more. You don't actually owe $4,102. That's not what it's saying. They're using this to calculate the balance. So that's why they're doing it this way. So each day that you had that balance, you're going to pay the average periodic rate on that day. So that's why we're totaling it. So this last one, they want you to calculate this. It's the only one they want you to actually multiply. So 386 times 9, you'll get your amount here. And then you simply just add these together, and that will give you your total. They also want you to add all the days together because we need to know how many days for this piece right here. So we need to know both. So make sure you fill in both boxes here, okay? So you're just adding straight down on these ones. And part B, what is the average daily balance? So once we know the sum of the daily balances, which is this box here, we're going to divide by the number of days, which is this box here. So we're going to divide the total by the number of days. And that'll tell us our average daily balance. And then we're going to multiply this average daily balance by our periodic rate. That's how we do our finance charge. Average daily balance times periodic rate. So once we know what our average daily balance is, we're going to multiply by 1.5%. That'll tell us what our finance charge is. And then to get your new balance, you simply just add your unpaid balance. So what is the actual end of balance there? In this case, it's $386. That's what we have actually in the account. Remember, this total, that's going to be pretty large. That is not your balance. That is not what you owe. That's just a sum so that then we can divide by the total number of days and get an average daily balance, meaning, how much do you normally have in your account on any one day? Kind of finding like a middle between the high and the low. So this is the actual unpaid balance at this point. And we're going to add finance charge to it that we just calculated, and any new purchases that we made, which we did make one new purchase, but that's already been added in. They're not bothering with that one again, because it's kind of an interesting way they did it. So they have 4, 10, 20. They added the 120, 80 here, and then they left it alone here to give a second line. So it was added in. It did change. It just changed the line above instead of this line. So, all right, let's go ahead and look at the Algebra One really quick. So Latoya Barnes' credit card uses the average daily balance included purchases. Average daily balance including purchases method of computing finance charges. Her credit card has a monthly periodic rate of 1.67% and shows a finance charge of $7.64. Find her average daily balance for the past billing cycle. So first, we need to give this a variable. Instead of constantly calling it her average daily balance, we need to come up with a variable. So for me, A works just fine. So this is going to be A. Her average daily balance, we'll call A for right now. And then if we come up here and we look at the different pieces, so we have average daily balance equals sum of daily balance divided by number of days. Well, we don't know necessarily the number of days. It says past billing cycle, but could be 30 days, 31 days, 28 days if it's in February, 29 if it's a leap year. They didn't tell us that. So we don't know how many days it was. We also don't have the sum of daily balances. They didn't tell us that. So we're not going to use that one for sure. But if we look here at the next one, finance charge, they told us what the finance charge was. Average daily balance, that's what we're looking for. And periodic rate, they told us that also. So we can definitely use this middle one here because we have 2 of the 3 pieces. So that's what you're looking for when you're trying to figure out what formula am I going to use to find this missing piece. You have to go up, and sometimes it's the one that's in this section, and I will admit sometimes it's one from a previous section. That's also why it's important to be reading through the chapter and paying attention to what you're doing so that you can recall this information in the next section if you need to. All right, so we have finance charge equals the average daily balance times the periodic rate. So all we have to do to solve for A here is just divide by our average, or our periodic rate, sorry, not average, periodic rate. There's no average in front of there. So when we divide, we'll have A equals, and we'll know our answer there. So I'm going to let you guys finish that one off. Not too hard a problem there to finish off. We just have to divide by 1.76%. Make sure you do the percentage. I hope that helped, and I will see you in Chapter 8.